one of my first investments, for example, was like, I bought 3 houses in Pittsburgh for $100,000. And one of my buddies, Matt, you know Matt Schneider?
Yeah.
So me and Matt worked at Signature, and I remember he was like buying these houses in Pittsburgh for like super cheap. And I was like, dude, how are you getting these houses
Matt's
for like 20?
savage, huh?
Yeah, for like 20, 30 grand. He was like, bro, Pittsburgh. I'm like, what the fuck? So he sent me his like realtor's info. I like flew out there like right away, and I like, the first time I went, it was in this area called McKeesport, which is like terrible.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, nah, I'm good. But I was like, if I find houses for 30 grand in the city of Pittsburgh, I'll probably buy. And so I started calling realtors. Long story short, I found 3 houses off market for 30 grand in the city of Pittsburgh. And they appraised like a couple months ago, one of them for 200 grand.
You still got them?
One of them, yeah, 200 grand. So then I cashed out, refied, and I used some of that money to buy the big mansion I'm in right now for 1.3.
That's fucking
So
crazy.
yeah, and then like the first house I ever bought for 285, and then like a year later sold it for like 360, and then I moved that to another house.
So did you rent it out? Did you do like the...
No, I just buy and sell. So
okay.
so that one
a year.
Yeah, just in a year, it went from like 280 to like 360.
Okay.
So then I bought a $400,000 property, and then I sold that for $500K like a couple months later. Then I bought a property for $575 that I still have right now. That one's worth like $900,000.
And that was like 20% down, like...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because like, I mean, my business, like the first 5 years, I wasn't making much, bro. I was like, you know, maybe breaking 6 figures like the last maybe year 4, year 5, but it really started skyrocketing for me the past 2 years, where I'm making like last year almost like, well, this year like $500,000, the year before like 350-ish, but like it was really like slow, and then it just took off once I started like doing a lot of luxury, because obviously every $1 million, 30 grand. So, you know, like right now I have like $10 million in listings almost, so it's insane. And so not only does it help when I'm doing because most of my business like back then was first-time home buyers, $300,000-$400,000 home. Yeah. But now I'm like doing, you know, that house that you did an open house, I'm like, it was $925,000, so I'm making money off that. Then I sell it to $1 million. That I have a house in Seven Hills for $1.5 million. I got 2.5%. Oh no, I wholesaled that. I bought it myself, represented myself, got the commission, then wholesaled it for even more money to my investors. Then they picked it up, and then I'm also charging them a design fee for designing everything and using my crew, and then I'm charging them commission. So every one deal that I'm doing, I'm getting like 6-7% commission sometimes off $1.5 to $2 million, rather than the regular like commission break that people are doing. But it took me a long time to like get the whole crew together, you know, figure out the designs by studying like Nick Steele's and Matt Steele's and different people like that. So because sometimes when investors come here and want to do luxury or things like that, like maybe they don't have the eye for it, or you know, a lot of them want to be hands off with everything. I'm like, cool, I'll be the hands-on guy and I'll treat it like my own flip, but it's going to cost you a lot more, you know. But to them, an extra 3% for them not having to do anything doesn't matter.
They'd rather have that peace of mind of not worrying, stressing about that.
Exactly.
And pay an extra 3%.
Exactly. So it just like, yeah. And then I mean, now obviously the market's shifting. So
your first luxury client, was it like someone that you just met in person? You say you're a big networker?
My first, yeah. So like a lot of my business, aside from the open houses, which I didn't speak about in this panel, was that during the day I would do the open houses, but at night I would go to the nightclub. So Hakkasan, Omni, Encore Beach Club, and my connects were so good because I would get to the casinos maybe an hour early and pick up like 15, 20 girls and walk into the club with just maybe me, one other guy friend, and 15, 20 girls. And so I'd get a table that's 5, 10 grand for free.
Right.
So I'd get everything comp, but then I'd make sure that I'm not there to fuck around. I'm really there to network. And so if
How does that look like during a club though? It's just for me, I'm not used to that. So it's like the loud music, like what the fuck do you talk about? You just fuck around, you build a relationship.
Right, and so, yes, so I would make sure that the people that were spending the type of money that I knew, you know, if they're spending 5, 10 grand on a table, how much money do they have? You know, and so if I'm surrounded by all those people, but I'm doing it for free, to them it looks like I'm doing it too, but I might be getting more bottles and I have more girls than they do, and so it would attract a lot of eyes on me. And so at night I would know, like I would ask, like, you know, or network with people and figure out who's the one that had money or whatever, and then from there I would make sure that the next day I'd hit them up and, yo, you know, it was great seeing you, next time I come, you know, and every time they'd be like, yo, let me chip in, I'd be like, don't worry about it, I got it, you know, but they didn't know it was all comp, they thought I'd been paying for it. And so, and this went on for a while, and I would get the best tables too, because like doing that for so long, like I would get the best cabanas. Like even right now, I could just go and get free cabanas. Like I was literally just there at who was it? Who just played at Elia? Damn, I forgot this artist's name, but he just played there and I literally got a cabana for free. And the people I was networking, multi-billionaires. He owns a house in Tamiyasu for like $5-6 million, NFT crypto multi-millionaires. And they came to my table because the table they had was not in the shade, hot as hell. And I was right next to the stage, cabana, like everything. And so they're like, dude, can we hang out here? And I'm like, of course, come hang out. And so they're like, and then afterwards they invited us to, to their house. And so we went over there and networked, and I didn't even want to go out, but I was like, I have to because these are people with a lot of money.
So I'm sure like VIP host and like nightclub host. Is that
a lot.
You the in?
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. Yeah, like knowing those people is a huge in on that.
Okay.
So that was like that's a big one because because they've known me for years now, so I could get tables comped anywhere I go, which is very rare because most people like that get comp tables, they either have to be in the industry or like be in that nightlife industry.
Correct.
So I'm like one of the only ones I know that gets like the caliber of tables and cabanas and things that but you always have to bring around a lot of girls and do all that, which now I have a girl, so it's a little more difficult. But luckily, like I'll tell her like, hey, bring some of your girlfriends, let's go, and then and she comes with me. So yeah.
It helps everything too.
Exactly.
You guys have fun.
Exactly.
You go work. You're making money. You're expanding your network, building the relationships, doing what you want to do. Damn.
Exactly. So, but it was like night and day work, and it was like open houses during the day, networking at night. Open houses during the day, networking at. I remember I'd come back from Hakkasan and like 4 or 5 in the morning sometimes, and I'd go straight to an open house. I wouldn't even go home. I was already wearing a suit, so I'm like, I'm already wearing a suit, like. So I would just go and like sometimes I'd be asleep and like the door would open and I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh shit, but it was like because I wanted it really bad, dude, and I was like, what else am I gonna what else do I do? Like go home and chill?
And the open houses were your open houses or another
other people's open houses? That was tough too because
price point too or what?
Eventually in a specific area, because I started because I used to do like any realtor that would say do an open house, I would do them, but I started honing it down to if I'm doing this many open houses, there's no way that I could like the Mike Ferry mega open house thing, right? You guys all heard of the Mike Ferry mega open house? I did the opposite. So I'm like, I wouldn't go and call and door knock and do all the bullshit. I just go put 1 or 2 fucking signs and I would just fucking sit there, but I'd make sure I was there every fucking day no matter what. And I'm not bringing these posters or this crap or whatever. I'm just doing the bare minimum. I'm just showing up, but I'm gonna show up every fucking day no matter what. Yeah, exactly.
10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yeah, what else am I gonna do, bro? It was like a 9 to 5 job, except I'm at an open house and I could do whatever I want and I'm chilling. And then when people come into my environment, it's a little, less intrusive. Like they're coming into my area. This is my zone, and so it's not a lot of rude people that are like over the phone or door knocking or all that stuff. And so again, it was just like, but you gotta also practice to your strengths, because I'm really good in person. There's a lot of people that might be good over the phone. Like I know a car salesman that worked at Century 21. This dude killed it on the phone, you know what I mean? So I'm like, he'd probably not be that good at open houses, but over the phone he's good. So you got to also play to your strengths and find out like what you love doing, and then that way you could just do that all the time. But it was a grind in the beginning. Like now I don't do them, I have Hugh doing for me or other agents, but it was like in the beginning I got to do what I got to do,
I'm there right now, bro, and I'm just breaking it. I was telling Mike, I'm like, I'm all in, bro. I'm all in.
Mike. Nice to meet you, brother.
Michael,
Ricky. We actually started in real estate school together.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
And so
hell yeah, dude.
I was just telling him like, this is it. Like, I'm all in. It's do or die. Am I gonna do this shit or I'm gonna fucking die doing it?
Yeah, for sure, dude. That's good, man.
I have no other option right now.
That's good, man.
Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm honestly gonna do whatever it takes. And so, hearing the open houses, I had a great conversation with one of my lender partners, business partners, that he's investing into my marketing and all that kind of stuff, right? And so he's like, bro, like, you gotta do open houses. And I'm like, more open houses. And up the videos, right? Because I just like Nick, I've hit like 15K, 20K views. I think like 15, 17K was the highest.
Yeah, that space is insane right now. That's why I have Sean right here filming all of her stuff.
Oh, that's your content?
Yeah,
okay.
That's my content, YouTube channel, like trying to do everything, because I think that's definitely like the next level of, getting out there and getting your eyes is like doing that everywhere. But yeah, posting like 10 times a day is difficult, dude. And because I like posting stories, I post stories all day. It's simple. But like doing a post and a reel and all these things, they get complicated. So it's that. But yeah, that's definitely like TikTok right now is crazy, bro. Like I posted one dumb video, got got like 40,000 views, and I was like, I didn't even have that many followers. I was like, what? So yeah, like just, I know that space is pretty crazy.
Do you think being in luxury, you can create a luxury clientele based on social media?
Of course, that's what I do. Most of my clients now come from social media.
From what platform?
Instagram. Yeah. People literally, so the day so it was funny because me and my dad, you know, sometimes I talk, ask for advice or whatever, and I was talking to him about getting the G-Wagon when I had my Camaro, and he was, how are you going to spend all this money on this car, da 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 da. I'm like, Dad, it's going to pay off, watch, like, people are going to see, like, you know. I swear I could not make this up. The day I got the G-Wagon, I got a DM on my Facebook from a multi-millionaire asking me how I liked it and that he wanted to take me out to dinner. We went to dinner, and the next day he was like, I want to flip houses, can you find me a deal? Like, I do a lot of like sports betting and things like that, but I want to get into flipping. But he lives in the Ridges, has a Lambo, McLaren, Porsche, you name it, he has it. And he's like, I want to flip houses.
Just sitting on cash.
Just sitting on cash. And I was like, cool, man, I'll find you a deal.
So then from finding deals,
and I found him a deal.
Like how?
Got him. That was on the MLS. Like I said, bro, sometimes I sit 12 to 16-hour days on the MLS. Literally, like morning and night, like
condition, looking at comps, doing the whole shebang.
Yeah, every single like now, because I don't really go out on appointments unless I have to anymore. Hugh does most of my showing, most of my stuff, so I just dedicate myself, because the 80-20 rule, right? It's like a lot of the times you're gonna spend, you know, 80% of your time doing bullshit, like transaction, phone calls, showings, all this crap that doesn't make you money.
Exactly.
What makes me money is finding the deal, because when I find a deal, I already have the investors, I already have Nick, I already have Matt, I already have all these guys that if I'm not gonna buy myself, they will, and if he won't, they will, and if he won't, they will. So I already have the investors, right? So I have the investors with the money. What's missing? Just the deal. So if I focus on just finding the deal, now my income is gonna grow, because all my time is just spent doing what I do best, which is hunting for deals, right? And so now all I focus on is just finding deals, and then Huber handles absolutely everything. My transaction coordinator handles everything else, and I just go and look for deals. That's all I do. And so I'll be on the MLS 24/7. Like, I haven't done it in a while, because like I had a couple personal issues that I had to take a break. But when I'm on my shit, I will wake up at 7 in the morning before I fucking breathe, pee, or do anything. I am on the MLS staring at the new listings, because I want to get there before anybody else and send a text to that agent that has the deal and be like, hey, this is what I got to offer, take it or leave it, let me know, you know? And I don't waste time writing offers either, bro. I just send a text. I'm like, yo, this is what I'm offering, this is my deal, take it or leave it, you want it done, let me know, we'll do it. You know, 10-day close, as is, whatever. And so, like, and I just keep doing that over and over and over until someone's like, yo, you know what, that might work, let's do it. And then I get a deal.
And so one of your first deals, was it with your investor, or was it your
no, yeah, so funny enough, that story about me going out and partying and doing all that, so I met a really, really big player in the game that used to buy a bunch of properties, or still does, in the auction. And so one day, like, it took me probably 4 or 5 years to build a relationship with him, take him out all the time, bring him girls, take him to eat, show him a good time. But over the years, one day he's like, hey man, I want to talk business with you. Why don't you come over to the house, big $1 million house, and in Legacy. And I was like, oh my God, like, it's finally happening. Like, let's see, you know? And so I went, and mind you, like, I just wanted to build a relationship with him. They knew I was a realtor, but I would never like bring up like, yo, like, let's do business. Nothing, just relationship. And so he called me, and so long story short, I went, and he was like, how much would you charge me for my whole portfolio? Like, I want, like, if you're my guy, to list my whole portfolio. And I was like,
what did you say?
And I was like, dude, I mean, bro, I'm a newer agent. I need this. So I gave him the bare minimum, 1%. I was like, I'll do it for 1%. Yeah, 1% every house.
Per unit, yeah.
If we're talking volume.
Correct.
But I was like, we have to do volume though. And he was like, we'll do volume. And I was like, done. So we shook on in. I got his whole portfolio. And so from then on, I mean, it wasn't nothing crazy, but it was like one or two listings a month, which is, you know, like in a year, it might be like 15, 20 listings. And then from there, I get my sign up. I get to market my properties. They're all flips. They're already redone. I get my name out there. So from having my name alone on a lot of those properties, I'd get buyers from it. And so my business there started going up a lot. But then I also started paying attention to what he does to the properties, how much he gets them for, how much he buys them, and that's how I started getting in the flip game, because I'm like, okay, well, he's finding them at the auction, but this is what he's doing. I'm already managing it. I'm already doing like the selling and documents and everything. So I can already do the other part because I have contractors. It's easy to find.
You're doing like the
so I'm like, the only part that was missing from that is me finding the deals and then, having the cash to do it. So then I started getting into hard money loans and figuring out like, okay, well, I could put 15-20% down on a property and they don't give a shit about anything else. They'll just give me the fucking loan. I'm like, great. I know it's 8 to 12%, 2 points, whatever, but like, if it's a good deal, it'll be worth it. And so from there, I started doing flips myself, and then, with the luxury I was already doing, I was like, well, let me put both of these things together, because he wouldn't really do luxury. Right. He would do like 300,000 to like 800,000. But with me getting into luxury, I was like, I could put these two worlds that I already know together, and I was like, why don't I just, so I started doing luxury flips. And I think Matt already left, but one of the deals that I did together was like, there was this house on the MLS, came up on the market. It was so cheap, bro. It was like 6,000 square feet. It was listed for like under $200 a square foot on an acre. 6,000 square feet on an acre. And I was like, this is kind of wrong. Like, this pricing is off. From all these years, I already know immediately when I see a house like, wait, this house is $700,000 for 6,000 square feet on an acre? I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like, this is a really good deal. Long story short, I locked it up. I seen how my client used a hard money loan to close it. So representing people that use hard money loans, I get to connect with their hard money lenders as well. And then it just goes on. And it was funny, I made him so much money because we got the house for like $760, and he was like, why don't we list it as is, because it's such a good deal. So we listed it as is for $950, and before it even hit the market, I was already taking a client out from California, and Embassy nightclub?
Yeah.
I met somebody there. One of the hosts recommended me. His dad's looking for some new construction. He brought his son. His son flips properties out there. So while I was taking him to see like new builds for $400K, I'm like, yo, let me stop by and show you this, little flip I got going on here. They might want to wholesale it. He's like, I love it. Let's do it. And he bought it for $950. So I double-ended it, represented the buyer, and then now that listing, I'm gonna list in like a month for like $3 million. So, and I had Eddie Griffin under contract on that property just off the renderings, but we canceled. But so it's just, but it just keeps going, and just doing more deals like that. But that one really. Yeah.
And now, are you looking at, based on the numbers and where the market's going, are you doing kind of what like Noah said, like doing a chart of like if it sells here, here, or here, these are your nets, or are you kind of just looking for a 50 to 10, like he was saying?
Yeah, I'm looking for like, let's just say like, if I were to buy a property back when the market was hot a couple months ago for $1 million, like if I were to offer $1 million, because I know I could get maybe 1.5, 1.6, now I'd probably want it at 700,000. Okay. Like I am, like it has to be in the dirt for me to buy the deal now. Like it has to be in the dirt. Okay. Like I'm not gonna buy anything that doesn't like make my eyes pop out and go like, even if this market keeps tanking, I could still sell it and make money. So it has to be like an extremely good deal.
So is it a percentage or is it just a gut?
For me, yeah, I'm not like a really numbers guy. Like I have my little Tycor app that I use, and I'm just like, if I get it for, so I'm like, if I get it for this, put this much into it, and closing costs are this much money, how much am I making out of it? And so usually my margins are really high to begin with. Like I'll never take the deal at 8 to 10%. Like most of my margins are a lot higher. Like I have a property I bought for like $845 and sold it for like $1.25. I only put 60 grand into it, so my margins are usually like over $100,000 profit properties, like usually 200,000 to 300,000, like sometimes on the bigger deals.
And when you started on flipping, were you funding the renovations, or were you?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I had. When I started getting into real estate, my dad started seeing how good I was doing. I was like, I would sell him a house here or there too, and I started telling him like, yo, you need to start investing with me. Like, let's do these properties together. So we got an LLC together where a lot of the time we'll do flips together. So, but a lot of the funds that he uses is from the money that we already made on the previous properties, and then some of his own personal money too. And then sometimes I'll tell him like he'll put more of the money down because I'm doing more of the work. So it'll go like hand in hand.
Cool. Fuck, bro. Fucking love it. I appreciate you.
Honestly, I'm gonna help for sure, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna be.